Welcome to the Hustle Wing podcast. Today we are joined by Hak Park, and we're going to chat to him a little bit today about his idea and get to know him. So thank you so much for joining us, Hak, and thank you for your time. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to introduce my idea.
Awesome, awesome. So tell me, what is it? What are you talking about today?
Sure. It stems from kind of the thought I've had where as we kind of progress through life through various stages from being an infant through old age that
Mm,
there's a lot of things that happen in people's lives,
yeah,
such as moving, such as career change, marriage. And obviously, that's after high school, and even before, there's a lot that you don't remember. And so
mm,
I've gotten to the stage in my life where I've started to want to remember things, record any or record any things that happen now, but also
yeah,
remember and also tell my kids kind of this is how I grew up, how I lived, and show them. And so
yeah,
I wanted a way to record and kind of pass down this kind of legacy and life that a person has lived, and
yeah,
think of all the lives that a lot of people everybody is living, and all these
mm,
stories and things that are missed or are not recorded
yeah,
for either lessons learned or just for families, so that they know where they come from and how
yeah.
their parents or their grandparents lived. So that
Amazing.
yeah, so the idea is that's where it comes from.
Yeah,
I was originally thinking it was for an app, and I think it would have to be somehow tied with your phone because it's so intimate to you and your life and in your
yeah,
everyday activity.
yeah.
Um, whether and that's kind of where it kind of stopped. I haven't I haven't done anything with it. I don't think there's anything like it out there. I've done
Mm,
some benchmarking or trying to do some research. And if there was one or two things. I saw an app out there, but it was very poorly executed without
mm,
making it easy for the user, right? You don't want to be typing everything all the time, right? It's got to be
yeah.
somehow very easy and fluid and automated. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. Awesome. I think I love the idea. I'm also trying to get into journaling and I suck at it because the writing is just so tedious. And
Right,
also I
right.
feel like
I,
it's hard to depict everything that you've gone through in a day in just words. Some people are just not
yes.
gifted in that, and I'm not one of them. Rather, some sort of video or picture or something would just make things like feel more real and stuff. So I like it. Also, when you're looking back on it, because I've gone through like diaries from like high school, and I'll write like 3 pages for one day. I don't have time to read 3 pages worth of,
Right.
one day. So I like the concept. It's cool. So how did you come up with it?
Yeah, so it's the concept or this idea came out of the need once again, just to
Mm,
when I reflect back or look at old pictures, I was like, those are good times. And
yeah,
these are things like 20, 30 years ago. And then
yeah,
also my kids, they grow up in such a different environment now that they have no
mm,
idea how I grew up and where I
mm,
come from. Um,
yeah,
and it's much easier instead of sitting down and telling them. Usually they don't sit around very long. You can either
yeah,
give them an app or you can show them in a cool storyboard or a
yeah,
storyline, and about their grandparents too, because
mm,
we live apart. So
yeah,
I think it's a need to connect with people, with your family, but also a need to pass down that story and history and
yeah,
legacy. Is kind of where it comes from. And
yeah,
the other part is the stories, because everybody has unique stories, and things that happened, whether it's a
yeah.
miracle or some sort of difficult times, things like that,
Yeah,
that maybe you want to reflect on too. So, yeah.
yeah. Awesome. So do you have an idea how it's going to be like the practical side of it? Like, will there be reminders or will it be picture or photo based? Like, do you know the
Yes.
direction you want to go? Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so once again, the practicality is very important.
Mm,
I'm thinking it needs to be tied with your phone. So similar to things that it needs to auto generate when the app or the software thinks that something has
mm,
happened. So for example, if you
yeah.
travel outside your usual town, let's say, then it assumes
Okay.
maybe you're taking a trip, right, for a certain
Yeah.
purpose, a vacation, and then
Yeah.
it'll know the software in itself will need to know that now it's that you're doing something out of the norm, so it's an event,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
that you change whether your personal information, let's say you change a phone number or you change an
Yeah.
address and knows you're moving, and so
Yeah.
maybe it pops up saying, hey, potential, milestone or event.
Yeah.
Things it needs to be interconnected already with existing platforms such as Facebook,
Mm, mm,
Google Photos, Google
yeah.
Maps,
Yeah.
and integrates that information and then once you say yes, right, it takes, whether you took a photo of your trip and it's a vacation trip, Google Photos already
Mm,
does this and puts together like an album for you, like for
yeah.
certain trips.
Yeah.
It'll kind of it'll bring that information in, and then
Yeah.
it'll have dates of how much you traveled, for example.
Yeah.
Um, Other things will need more details like events that happen, right, that aren't part of your social media or your
Yeah.
phone, right? Those things you'll just have to jot down.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay,
so
cool.
those kind of cues to kind of auto-generate as much as possible information, evidence,
Mm-hmm.
photos,
Mm-hmm.
write-ups, data, that kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. So then, what are your current challenges that you're facing to in this with your product? Sorry.
Uh, so the when I was starting, I thought about this probably years ago. The
Okay.
challenge is the programming, right? I think
Mm.
mapping out. So I would start small, right? Let's say vacations, just because that's easy.
Okay.
I would think it's
Yeah.
easier. You would start small, but then to program that and create a software, I have no idea. I'm not a software engineer or programmer.
Yeah.
And then obviously the funding to do that and to find the correct person or company to program that, that's kind of
Mm.
where I've stopped. And then it takes resources, of course, to do that. And so I haven't
Yeah.
pursued it any further.
Okay. Okay. All right. And what sort of assistance would you like or need from our community of side hustlers? Would you be open to networking with the community?
Um, yeah, I honestly don't know a lot about the side hustle. I signed up just because I thought it'd be interesting. I just give it a shot.
Yeah.
The support I would need probably would be just defining more kind of the mission and
Yeah.
the events and how that will basically the process and process flow of how
Yeah.
these things are triggered and kind of what needs to happen on in the background,
Mm-hmm.
and so that you could give that map to a programmer to start programming at least,
Yeah.
yeah, targeting one type of event and then
Yeah.
maybe growing from there. So maybe yeah, and then of
Yeah.
course any contacts for programming or
Mm.
that people already have, just networking. I think that'd be great help.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time, Huck, and for sharing your idea. I wish you all the best. I absolutely love the product. So I do, I will keep an eye out because when it's
Okay.
out, I want it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do love the concept and I wish you all the best in future.
Okay. All right. Thank you.